Some people said Bola Tinubu is not his name. Nobody knows his birth date for sure. Nobody knows who his parents are for sure. There are all kinds of questions. When Jonathan was president and Senator Bola Tinubu tweets then, as far as security is concerned, the buck stops at the president's desk. I just feel that having contributed to bringing about this tragedy to Nigeria by contributing to the emergence of Bola Tinubu as president.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mallam Nasir El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State, was on Arise TV last night. And right from the very first question thrown at him, he left no one in doubt why he honored the interview.
Nigerians are tired of the APC. We know that, we have polled that. There is 91% disapproval of this administration across the country. 91% disapproval. It's the worst in Nigeria's history. But Nigerians are looking for a credible option. Yeah, but they want to see people coming together, putting aside their differences and ambitions, and giving them an alternative to this failure of a government.
But that's the key thing. Can you put aside your personal ambitions?
You've got
yourself, you've got Atiku Abubakar, you've got Peter Obi, you've got Rotimi Amechi, you have so many big political, wigs with huge, ambitions.
Big names does not equate ambitions, okay? You've mentioned my name. I have no ambition, okay? I just feel that having contributed to bringing about this tragedy to Nigeria by contributing to the emergence of Bola Tinubu as president, I should contribute in my last lap, okay? Because I'm 65, I should be retiring. In my last lap, let me contribute towards removing this evil that I believe will destroy Nigeria if left unchecked.
Right.
And when he was reminded that he had sold both Buhari and President Tinubu to Nigerians, here is how he responded.
But you supported President Buhari in 2019.
Yes.
And for many people, he simply didn't deliver.
Yes.
I mean, you supported Tinubu in 2023, and now you're saying he's not delivering.
Yes.
So how can we trust that the person you supported in 2027 can deliver?
You don't have to. Don't trust what I say. It looks like I'm not very good at picking successful presidents, so don't trust me if I say vote for Charles Aniagolu. Look at your situation, look at yourself and ask yourself whether the person that I'm campaigning for or the person that I'm supporting to be president will be better than what you have now.
Many people would say that there was never anything about him that really inspired people to believe that he could really change this country dramatically. He didn't take part in any debates that brought some new insight. He wasn't particularly charismatic, and many people didn't see anything in his DNA that made him particularly stand out. Was there something about him that you detected that separated him from the pack as far as you were concerned and made you support him so totally in 2023?
Okay, so let me respond to that in two steps, okay? Because, you know, it's very easy for non-politicians to analyze this thing as one continuing narrative. But actually, the way the thought process works is this, okay? And this is how it worked in 2022. For us, as northern APC governors, the first concern we had was after 8 years of Buhari, power should go to the south. We believe that there was such an understanding in our party. We were part of the formation of the party, and we felt that that was an honorable thing that must be upheld. So that was the first step. So we didn't start by saying we want A or B to be president. We just said, look, power should go to the south. That was the first step. The second step is, now that power has gone to the south, who do we support that we think will have a chance of winning? Okay? Because you want your party to win. You want to be the party in power. And lots of calculations went into that. And Bola Tinubu became the beneficiary of that. But we didn't start with supporting a candidate. No, no, no. And I want to say that it was the support of the governors of the Northwest, Northeast, and North Central that was decisive in deciding the outcome of the primaries as well as the election. Of course, Bola Tinubu's puppeteers are now denying that. They are saying all kinds of things, and they will learn their lesson in 2027. Okay, but this is how it started. Now, for me personally, because you asked me, Bola Tinubu was never someone I was close to, even in the party, because in the party I was a Buhari boy. Bola has his boys, Buhari had his boys. We are Buharists, no apologies. So Bola Tinubu never really liked me. We never really got along. The person that I got along with was Baba Akande, and I was his deputy national secretary. We were among the first leaders of the party. As far as I was concerned, once Bola Tinubu got the ticket of the party, it was my duty as a party man to do my best to deliver him in Kaduna, and wherever I see that there is a potential problem that I can solve to ensure his election, I will do that. Is he perfect? No. Some people said Bola Tinubu is not his name. Nobody knows his birth date for sure. Nobody knows who his parents are for sure. There are all kinds of questions.
And that didn't bother you at the time?
It did bother me because I know my name, I know my parents, I know my birth date, I know I have classmates, okay, and there are no questions about whether I graduated from Ahmadu Bello University or not, okay. All those questions were there about about Tinubu. But for me, the question was, he was governor of Lagos, yes? How did he govern Lagos? He governed Lagos in a very inclusive manner. He had an Igbo guy as a commissioner. He had another Hausa man from Daura as one of his special advisors. In Lagos, in 1999, that was almost unique. He ran an inclusive government. After winning the elections with the Agberos and all that, he went and got the Cardosos, Wale Eduns, Yemi Osinbanjos from the private sector to come and help him run the government. So he did a decent job in governing Lagos. That's the only thing we know about him as far as governing is concerned. You know, Charles, every saint has a past. Every sinner has a future, okay? The way I looked at it is, well, look, he did a decent job in Lagos. Lagos has improved. You can't deny that. He laid a foundation. Many people have issues about how he held on to Lagos and so on and so forth. But the place is improving. If he can do half of that on a pan-Nigeria level, this country will move forward. So I said, look, he's the candidate of the party. I will support him. I will do everything to ensure he wins.
So on this one, I have a conspiracy theory on what I think may have happened. I think Mallam El-Rufai is understandably upset about how he was treated by the president. And anyone criticizing him for coming after the president may not be fair to him. But here is what I think happened. President Tinubu genuinely wanted Mallam El-Rufai to be in his government. But after the election, some people went to the then president-elect Bola Tinubu and told him Mallam Nasir El-Rufai worked against him during the election and may not have been truly loyal to him. And of course, they presented the result of the presidential election to back up their claim. The president felt betrayed and subsequently withdrew Mallam El-Rufai's name from the list of ministers to be confirmed from the National Assembly. Now, another issue that seems to be gathering a lot of attention lately is the allegation that some northern elements are in the habit of frustrating a southern presidency. Of course, Mallam Nasir El-Rufai disagrees.
Why it is that whenever a southerner is there, that's when this issue of coalition comes up. When President Jonathan was in office, that was when coalition came up with the APC, and now Tinubu is in office, and it's come up again. What are your thoughts on that?
I never thought about that. I don't care about that. The reason why the Jonathan coalition came up was as a result of two developments. First, the feeling that Jonathan was not governing the country very well, okay? Second, Jonathan made a commitment not to run in 2015. So he had problems even within his own party. The third, okay, was simply we realized, those of us in small parties, opposition parties at the time, CPC, ANPP, ACN, we realized that unless we came together, okay, step by step, election cycle after election cycle, the PDP will be destroying us in bits and pieces. So it was an act of self-preservation in the first instance for the political parties. That's why 3 major political parties decided we must come together, okay? The second, of course, was the feeling that, you know, Jonathan was doing a bad job, let's get him out. I don't think it has anything to do with North or South.
You know, the proponents of these so-called arguments make it look as though it is only northern elements that are behind this. In 2014, majority of the politicians who ensured President Jonathan was sent packing were Southerners. And even in this dispensation, the same thing can be said to be true. So quite honestly, I don't buy this conspiracy theory. And it wasn't done. A complete joke. That's how he describes President Tinubu's cabinet.
Look, the one thing I was almost confident President Tinubu would do would be to have a competent team, solid people. Look at his cabinet. It's a joke. The largest cabinet in Nigeria's history, maybe there are 5 ministers that can be called ministers in the time I was minister, which was 20 years prior. Okay? Who is the Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala in that cabinet? Who is the Obi Ezekwesili? You know, there is just no quality. As I said, apart from about 5
you could ask the same question. Yeah. Who is the Nasir El-Rufai?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to go to that level.
Well, the reason I bring that up is that a lot of people will be saying that you're saying these things because you didn't make it into the cabinet when you expected to do so. And I'm wondering if that, what some interpreted as a slap in the face for you, is what is motivating you. And whether, let me just make this point, whether or not there could be, because I mean, he dropped you, which after all the effort you made on his behalf. And I'm wondering whether there could be an even bigger political price to pay for you for going for the president's political jugular this time. Because when you supported him, he cast you aside. And now this time you're opposing him. Could there be a bigger political price to pay for you?
There may be. I don't care. That's me, okay? Now, let's go back to that. You know, Charles, anytime I wake up and I see the Tinubu government inflicting more pain on Nigerians and just bungling governance, the simplest things in governance that I knew when I was DG of BP, these guys can't even get it together. Whenever I see that, I thank God. Because I think God saved me. I'm a very lucky person. I think God saved me from the embarrassment of having to explain to be part of this disaster. Okay? So I've never thought twice about it. I never sought to be minister. I was minister 20 years before. That's nothing. Tinubu begged me.
And to your credit, you did a superb job as Minister of Abuja.
Thank you very much.
Everybody would agree to that.
Thank you very much. Okay, my record is there. All right. So Tinubu begged me publicly. The videos are there to serve in his cabinet. He requested me to change my personal life plans. Okay. So those that I say is because he dropped me. How can I be unhappy about something that I never sought? It was actually an imposition on me. I had to change my plans. I had to put my PhD on hold. I had to do many things because of his request. So it has not happened. It has not happened. I'm grateful to God that it has not happened because I don't have to explain to Nigerians why electricity is this way, the economy is going this way, the exchange rate is going that way, and so on. I don't have to explain that.
Right.
Quite honestly, I completely agree with the former governor on this one. I mean, save for the Minister of Interior, Minister of Aviation, and of course, the Minister of the FCT, and maybe a few others. Majority of President Tinubu's cabinet ministers have been monumental failures. What we were told before the elections was that the president was an expert in head-hunting talented and intelligent individuals. But you can't look at this current cabinet and make the argument that the president delivered on that promise. Now, the interview didn't end without him addressing some misconceptions about challenges that might derail the activities of the opposition parties.
The mistake that most people make is that they think that what we are trying to do is similar to what we did in 2013 with the APC. It is not. Parties are not involved in this discussion. okay, the opposition groups are led by individuals, okay. Vice President Atiku Abubakar has a group of people from PDP, some are not, some are even from APC. There is a group led by the trio of Rauf Aregbesola, Emeka Nwajiba, and Abubakar Malemi, former Buhari ministers, and this group has membership across all parties. Peter Obi has his group from Labour Party as well as the PDP and so on. But it is the leaders of these groups that are in the discussion. We are not bringing parties together. We are not engaged in a merger. I am part of the leadership, but I'm not there representing SDP. I'm there as an individual with some political weight, no matter how small, in my state or in the Northwest. Okay, so this is how all the groups, how the coalition is formed. It has nothing to do with parties. But we all agreed that if we're able to come to a consensus about a political party to go into, we will leave our parties and join with all our followers. That is the understanding.
In my opinion, registering a new political party seems the most sensible thing to do, since most of the opposition parties have been allegedly taken over by agents of the APC. Honestly, I'm waiting to see how this even works, because it's looking like an implosion that is waiting to happen. You see, as far as I'm concerned, it is ambition that will ultimately scatter them. Too many over-ambitious, strange bedfellows pretending to care about democracy and Nigeria. Now, let's face it, there are two individuals within this group whose ambition to be president is non-negotiable. And those two individuals are Atiku Abubakar and, of course, Peter Obi. Now, the question is, can either of these two larger-than-life personalities step down their ambition for each other? But what does Mallam Nasir El-Rufai say to those who think it is unfair to criticize a government that has only spent 2 years in office?
But they would make the argument that he's only been in office for 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, is it fair to assess him based on 2 years?
Of course, it is fair to assess him. He has assessed others based on 1 year. He has assessed others in the past. You see, the beauty of the 21st century is there is an audit trail of what you have said or done. When Jonathan was president and Senator Bola Tinubu tweets then, as far as security is concerned, the buck stops at the president's desk. You bring that out to him and show him when he tries to say, oh, you know, governor, go and fix your security problem. No, the governor cannot fix security problems because defense, police, security is exclusively federal. As governors, we were chief security officers only in name. Okay, so don't outsource security to the states. Fix it.
It's absolutely right. But what he failed to mention is that he was one of those who encouraged Bola Tinubu to do that at the time. And even more hypocritical is the fact that he was one of those pleading with Nigerians to give President Buhari more time to address the security challenges plaguing the country at the time.